So in this video, guys, let's take a look at how to prepare for Bitcoin from here after seeing and getting that rebound from $60,000 all the way to $73,000 area that I mentioned that this is given. It's most likely the case that's going to happen, and then we will slow down, which we are slowing down at $73,000 now. What is the price action telling us from here? Should you continue to hold your position and look for much more upside this coming week? Or are we going for another retest to the downside? How do we prepare for that? What we have to look for? We'll talk about all of that in this video. Once I also let you know, none of this is any financial advice, only for education purposes, just sharing my opinion. Please do your own thing. Also, please hit the like and subscribe if you find my videos valuable and helpful. It goes a long ways, helps out the channel a lot, and it's for free. Like and subscribe doesn't cost you guys anything. Please do so. All right, so Bitcoin, let's get to the weekly interval right away. And as I have previously mentioned as well, that $60,000 area, I'm building personally my position between $60,000 to $73,000. And so far, this thing has given me reward. All right, I'm in net profit. Even though I'm aware it's just a bounce, guys. Okay, we are still on Bitcoin in the overall bearish structure. Okay, nothing has changed. We are still in the negative bearish structure, and this is where it becomes important how to handle a long position, right? Because this thing can slip lower because we are overall bearish, so the overall structure will take precedence here, right? So let's get to the hourly interval right away, and that will give us some clear picture. So as I have previously said, that as this rebound will happen from $60,000, we have a room to test this closer to $73,000 zone. We got very close around 71,738. And as you can see, we slowed down there, came down and regaining back the strength, which is a good sign, Can we conclude this pullback is completed and we are just good and ready to set to go to the upside? Well, not so fast, because we haven't taken out $73,000 yet. That's still on the overall structure a stronger resistance, and compound that together with 200 hours moving average, that may change the things. So in both directions. So what do I mean? Let's talk about first for the downside. Right now, there's nothing to worry about on the downside for any even retest. Why so? Because as long as we can hold above almost 69,988, which is almost $70,000, as long as we continue to hold, no problems, all good. If we lose $70,000, we may be testing then $67,260 again. And if that happens, we have a much more likelihood that we're going to slip lower and retest that zone of $60,000, which means if you want to risk manage based whatever position you have, and you took this with me, or if you took that also trade from $60,000 and you want to manage the risk a little bit and not be, if you're not sure and you were like, hey, I would love to take some partial profits here, then this is your chance. As if we now start to break below 70,000 and get closer to 67, you should be a little bit taking partial profits in your position. As if we continue to hold above 70,000, all good. All right. And the next thing to watch is this week breaking out above $73,000. Now, this is very important, and we might see this retest up there at $73,000 in the overnight session today, because Bitcoin liquidity starts to come from the evening of Sunday, because of other markets that opens around the world. And so you are watching $73,000, because if this week we can at least close even a day above $73,000, we start to open up the week to test $84,000. And that's where I would definitely like to little bit take profits from this position that I started from, or around between $60,000 to $73,000. I would like to little bit take profits up there. Okay, I'm still holding my original position. I did take some actually, very little profits, negligible around. When I say negligible, I mean negligible position that I took out maybe just 5% or so around this 71,000 retest, but I'm still holding majority of my position, and I'm targeting $84,000 there. So the point is that is as if we can close a day above $73,000, that really opens up the week, this coming week, to $84,000. And also that's on the weekly interval is a prominent sign because it tells us that the bottom is in and we have taken out one stronger resistance above. And as if we can close the week also this coming week above $73,000, we have much more likelihood that the coming weeks, provided if let's say we don't retest $84,000, and if we just even if we just can close the week above $73,000 this coming week, it's much more likelihood that the following week we are setting up for the upside, and not even just 84,000 but even $100,000 retest we can go for. And at that point, guys, we'll just it's already turning in an uptrend, proper one on the weekly interval as well. So this week it's very important what price does at $73,000. We close above this even a day, that opens up the week for 83, 84 potentially. And as if let's say we don't get to 84, but if we can still have a week close above 73,000, that is also a strengthful sign that we may be just marking a bottom, and it's just all about waiting for the price action to stabilize. So $73,000 is a very critical zone on Bitcoin going forward from here. All right, so far things are looking good. I'm just waiting for liquidity to come when the market starts to open, because most of the time now Bitcoin is more traded through the regular market now, because through the spot ETFs, through other ETFs, which run on New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ 100. So that really brings the volume from the institutional side of the things. And that's where the market, when regular market opens, even though Bitcoin trades 24/7, but when the regular market opens, it really brings that volatility in these assets. Now that's Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Ethereum also, and we'll wrap up with that. So, and if you're interested to know about strategy and coin, how I'm looking at it this week on those, you can join my Patreon. Details are in the description of this video. I already talked about the 25 plus stocks there with the members, so check out the details there if you're interested in other stocks as well. Now Ethereum is also just in the same case, just like Bitcoin. It's testing one of the stronger resistance up there, and similarly with Ethereum as well, as if it can break out above this zone of almost 2100 to 2165. As we break out above it, it will open up the doors possibly to the zones like 2440, and then after that 26. I personally don't trade Ethereum, and I'm not interested to trade Ethereum. Even when I got into the crypto, I'm just more of a Bitcoin guy. But if you are doing Ethereum, that should be your trade plan. If we don't go above 2100 around, then we will most likely go for a test down here, but we have a high likelihood of forming a double bottom. But it's the next move, because Ethereum is just more like a rebound here as well, where the next move is above 2100 area, that blue zone, 2100 to almost 2165 area. And let's get to the weekly interval. Similarly, use that level. As I said, like you can see Bitcoin has had much more higher run-ups in the proper trend. Ethereum is more like a range. It's more like a range based. It hasn't really held on to the gains like Bitcoin over time. Ethereum, the whole point is that Ethereum supply definitely is not infinite, it's not unlimited. It can definitely be burned, and all through its way how it's managed its supply. However, it's still dynamic, right? But with Bitcoin, it's like given, it's a consensus, and the consensus can't be broken unless every node agrees to it, right? So, and that's where really it shines. Okay, again, it can be argued if Bitcoin is still just a speculation and no real use. But it all comes down to how the society handles it. Technically, there are ways that you can still exchange or trade in Bitcoin instead of money. And it's all about the adoption, if society wants to adopt it, right? Let's say if you own Bitcoin in your wallet and someone else that you are trading the services or exchange of goods or anything, and they also have the wallet and Bitcoin in there, and you agree that you want to do your own decentralized exchange of value through Bitcoin, you can still do it. No one is stopping you. So it's all about, is society willing to do it, right? And you don't even have to wait for 100 different people to do it. You don't even have to wait for a legal tender like a currency to happen. Just two people have to agree about it, and you can do your trade transaction, right? It's more like a barter system. Technically, it's not a barter system. You're not really just exchanging goods as it is. You are exchanging a value through a means of flexible asset. So it's doable. It's just about, do you want to do it, right? Like, I personally am open to do it, right? If I find someone and from whom, let's say, I'm selling or buying something, and they're willing to do it in Bitcoin, well, sure, I would agree with that. It's all about, do you want to adopt it, right? And you don't even have to wait for any legal tender on this thing. You can, if you like it, two people agree on it, you can do it. So the whole theory about, is it still that, is it still that, well, it's not about, you shouldn't wait for any approval on this thing. That's the beauty of this thing. It's decentralized. It's all about, are you agreeing, right? So, and as for the Bitcoin price action and all, it's also, I'm using it as for trading purposes, the Bitcoin, because it's a tradable equity. Okay, that's how the market is designed. So you pick what works for you. All right, guys. Well, that's all I had for you in this video. And with that, we'll see you in the next videos. Take care. Bye.